another thing that makes things a little bit harder right now is what a lot of people refer to as the cost of living crisis. The interest rates did just come down a little bit. Things are, I think, starting to get a little bit better. Not necessarily because of that, but I would say they might not be as bad, or people have gotten used to them a little bit more today than they were like 4 months ago. But stuff is expensive, and you know this when you go to your grocery store and it costs you $300 when it used to cost you $150. Or whatever it is. Maybe you're shopping at Aldi now. Maybe you're going to Costco a little bit more. Or maybe you're going to Costco a little bit less. I don't know. But those numbers get real big at Costco really fast, faster than they used to. Grocery store thing is bigger than it used to. Every number is bigger than it used to be. So when you combine a recession with a cost of living crisis, now we have the cost of living crisis means that there's less discretionary income as well. So that's kind of a double whammy. And let's add the third, because again, we just have to know that this is a real variable, not something that we cannot overcome, but it is something we are dealing with. It is an election year. And election years just make people go crazy. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. It hasn't changed anything yet. Okay? You're just watching a lot of stupid commercials and a lot of people bash each other, but nothing has really changed. Now, what does kind of change, it works in our favor. And I'm not being political here at all, but it's just, I'm historical. I love history, and I was a politics minor in school for fun because I just enjoy it. Like, I like this. I like the historical elements of politics, or looking at politics within a historical context. That's what I like to do because I'm a freaking nerd, guys. But if anybody is there with me, please let me know in the comments. There's got to be more than one, or more than the handful of us out there. All right, anyway, when you look at what happens typically in election years, if whoever is in power, whichever party has the presidency, if things aren't going well leading up to the election, they often, or typically, do not win the election. So if the economy is in really bad shape, and there's a cost of living crisis, and there happens to be, and I'm gonna change it so that you know I'm just speaking hypothetically. Let's say there's a Republican in power, and there's a cost of living crisis and a bad recession, and everybody's unhappy. People blame the president, and they will vote that president out. That's just kind of how the nature of the beast is, sort of just how politics works. So what typically happens as you lead up to an election is one of two things. One, stuff will actually get better, like cutting interest rates recently. Things can actually start to get better, or just the news will say things are getting better. Because the people in charge really need the general populace to think that things are improving in order for the political party in charge to stay in power. So the good news is, again, why am I talking about all these crazy variables? Because this one might actually help the other two. Normally, an election year in something like a good economy can be enough to jostle things around and make people uncomfortable to sign up for something. But in this situation, I kind of wonder if it's going to help a little bit, because it might make people not necessarily say that you can fix a recession within the next 2 months, 2.5 months. However, the news may start making people think that the economy is getting better, which could work in our favor. Or they could still be freaked out by the fact that there's going to be change. And most people in this world are freaked out by the concept of change. I've realized that over the course of my life, especially as I've gotten older. I am a person who embraces change. I don't fear change at all. I have a relatively high, I've learned this, I've been told this because I never even thought about it. I have a high risk tolerance. These things don't make me uncomfortable. But they make a lot of people uncomfortable. Again, kind of, I think entrepreneurs were a little bit unique in this. We have a higher risk tolerance than most. If you think about it, it's pretty obvious. We started a business, no one else did. Those people may be very unhappy in their current situation, but they weren't bold enough to go and leave and start their own. That's you, by the way. So congratulations on being being different than most. But when people come into your school, when people come and check out your classes, they may freak out. They may be a little freaked out. They may really want to train, but they may be really worried that stuff is going to change. You know, again, if you look at the political ads, which I try not to do, I'm not a TV watcher. I really try to avoid them as much as possible. But I got a family who lives in this house with me, and they are TV watchers. And if they find, if I hear it, I just kind of roll my eyes at it like, oh yeah, the sky is falling, very Chicken Little situation. If so-and-so gets in power, this is going to happen. If so-and-so gets elected, this is going to happen. And you're like, yeah, that's not really how the government works. Nothing works that fast, kind of by design. We're all going to be okay. It's going to be fine. We're going to deal. We're going to figure out a way to move forward. And that's probably where I do flip to the other side of, we're not going to let these variables stop us from running our business. Again, I've had my school along with my husband for 14 years now, a little over 14 years now. We've seen Democratic presidents, we've seen Republican presidents, we've seen good economies, we've seen recessions. We're doing fine. We're growing. We're continuing to grow. We're continuing to be profitable. We're increasing our profitability percentage. And we've really stabilized out over the last, I would say, 2.5 years after COVID. Like, things are going fine. Things are going great. We're happy with where we are. And we're not going to let these variables change how we run our business. It does change, however, how we communicate with prospects, because they are looking for leadership, they are looking for guidance, they are looking for stability, and you need to be the person who does that for them. And that's one of the best ways that you can become absolutely essential. Move out of that discretionary income, right? Become absolutely essential to your clients is by being the person, the leader that they go to when stuff in their life feels so crazy, but they need someone to help, and that can be you. So do your best to avoid getting riled by things like the economy, the cost of living, or, God forbid, politics, please. And allow your academy to feel peaceful and stable and good and positive. And people crave that so much they will sign up just to be part of something better than what they can find on their own. So that's my challenge for you guys today, is to just toughen up a little bit, be the leader here, and you guys are going to survive this just like you'll survive everything else. You guys are going to do just fine. All right, I hope that helps today. You guys go crush it. Have a good rest of your month. Let's look forward to a killer October. And if you have any questions, make sure you catch these posts so that I can answer your questions specifically on the next call.